Hey, what's up, everybody? Cinephile Mike is here, and we are in Season 4 of Award Season Reviews, counting down to the 98th Academy Award with 98 reviews in 98 days. Quick reminder, before we dive in, please make sure you click that subscribe button so you don't miss any of these last few award reviews. There's only a few left. We're in our 14th and final theme week of the season, the rest of the best. This week, I am looking at the last films that are nominated for the Oscar this coming Sunday that I haven't covered yet this season. Moving along today, I am discussing Apple Original Films' The Lost Bus. Co-written by the film's director Paul Greengrass and Brad Inglesby, based on the book Paradise, One Town Struggled to Survive an American Wildfire, written by Lizzie Johnson. The film premiered at the Toronto International Film Festival and had its limited theatrical run in September before moving over to the streamer. What's it about? Well, this one is set against the devastating backdrop of the 2018 Camp Fire in Paradise, California. The Lost Bus is about relatively new bus driver Kevin McKay, played by Matthew McConaughey, as a routine morning quickly spirals into a life or death situation. As high winds and dry conditions help fuel a very rapidly spreading wildfire, which gets sparked by a failed Pacific Gas and Electric (PG&E) transmission line, chaos begins to unfold in the small California town. Communication failures and gridlock traffic evacuation routes leave all of the residents scrambling to escape as this fire grows closer by the minute. Kevin, already juggling personal challenges at home, he has an elderly mother, played by McConaughey's real mother, Kay McConaughey, and he also has a strained relationship with his teenage son, Sean, played by McConaughey's real son, Levi McConaughey. He suddenly finds himself at the center of this unfolding crisis. When he learns that there's a group of children that's stranded at Ponderosa Elementary School, within the evacuation zone, it turns out he's the only driver that's close enough to reach them and get them to the newer evacuation site so these kids can be reunited with their parents. With the kind of forced help of teacher Mary Ludwig, played by America Ferrera, Kevin loads 22 very frightened students onto the bus and attempts to guide them out of this increasingly dangerous town, navigating collapsed trees, other cars, traffic jams, and a blaze that is growing so uncontrollably fast. And what follows is an increasingly tense journey as Kevin and Mary just struggle to keep these children calm while finding a, how ironic, safe path out of paradise. With, no communications, very little visibility, and flames coming in from every direction, the bus, it kind of becomes a refuge and also a very fragile lifeline. As everything gets worse and escape routes disappear, and civilians take drastic measures, the pair has to rely on each other, a little bit of luck, their instinct, and their determination to get these group of kids out of one of the most destructive wildfires in California history. I have to say, at the center of the film, Matthew McConaughey, he delivers a nice kind of restrained performance. Sometimes he goes overboard, but here his portrayal of Kevin is quite solid. It works well for this material, giving this character a lot of quiet moments to show certain things emerge naturally. Even if, a few things in the timeline and the story seem a little bit uneven, and maybe he's a little... I know he's kind of one of those ageless celebrities, but he's a little bit aged out of this role. Sorry, McConaughey fans. America Ferrera, always a delight. She proves equally compelling as Mary. She brings a very strong emotional presence to the film. With just a glance or a reaction, Ferrera communicates the weight of the situation, grounding the film's tension in, truly genuine human concern. Paul Greengrass, our director, our co-writer, he very wisely keeps the story tightly focused on the bus itself and the partnership between Kevin and Mary. While the film briefly checks in with firefighters, parents, the school district, it avoids becoming bogged down in, multiple subplots, which could have very easily happened. Even the students on the bus, are largely kept in the background, with only a few moments highlighting individual personalities to kind of drive certain plot points. And this choice keeps the narrative centered on survival rather than becoming a human interest story. At times, I will say, and not to knock the real situation that happens here, but the film itself gets a little repetitive. I think a little bit of additional editing could have helped tighten the pacing in pockets. But I have to say, technically, The Lost Bus is remarkably strong. The visual effects team, led by supervisors Charlie Noble, David Zaretti, and Russell Bowen, alongside special effects supervisor Brandon K. McLaughlin, they create wildlife imagery that feels frighteningly real. The flames seem to engulf the screen like they are going to come out and get you. Cinematographer Paul Greengrass, he captures these sweeping and often nerve-wracking shots of the bus navigating through smoke-filled roads, burning landscapes. Meanwhile, you have composer James Newton Howard providing a subtle score that manages to heighten the emotional stakes and growing sense of danger, keeping you off kilter. And within that, if we talk about sound and what we're hearing, Oliver Tarney, the sound designer and the supervising sound editor, close your eyes for a moment and just listen, and the roar of the fire alone tells you so much of the story. And for anyone familiar with the history of corporate negligence in California, the revelation that this tragedy was caused by PG&E inevitably brings to mind another infamous case depicted in the Oscar-winning film Erin Brockovich, making it hard to not feel a renewed sense of frustration at how preventable disasters like this continue to occur. I'm not even from the West Coast, and I feel the pain and the angst that is shown at times in this film. Okay, let's talk box office and awards. While the film did have its limited Oscar qualifying release, there's no box office information that's shared on our usual resource, Box Office Mojo. Critically, the film is very strong. It has an 88% tomato meter from 138 critical reviews and a 95% popcorn meter from over 100 audience reviews. Award season-wise, this film is nominated for Best Achievement in Visual Effects at the Oscars. This is a category it was also nominated for at the BAFTAs and by the Indiana Film Journalists Association, and also an Outstanding Visual Effects in a Photoreal Feature by the Visual Effects Society. So it has the Guild Award. In addition to this, it was a Best Intergenerational Film nominee by the AARP Movies for Grown-Up Awards, and America Ferrera won the Trailblazer Award for Latino Cinema and Television by the Critics' Choice Awards Celebration of Cinema and Television. So where do I land for this one? This one, visually stunning, solid performances, very, very strong, 4-star film. To check this one out, head over to Apple TV+. This one, if nothing else for the visuals, is to see. All right. Thank you all for joining me for episode 94 of Award Season Reviews. 94. You know what that means? We only have 4 days left. Stay with me. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, share it with your friends, drop your thoughts in the comments. You can follow me everywhere, social platforms, Letterboxd, and of course, head over to my website, CinephileMike.com, for even more reviews, movie goodies. I'll be back tomorrow with the next review. But until then, this is Cinephile Mike saying take a break and watch something new.